Coming to Michigan State was not my goal. I didn't apply here. I had no interest in coming here whatsoever. And that's because I lived an hour away and I had just gotten back from Poland where I was miles away from my family, and I lived in a large city. So I was like, why would I want to go to a college that's basically in my backyard? So I didn't apply here. I applied to schools all across the country. I ended up choosing the University of the Sciences in Philadelphia. The big city it made me think of all these opportunities that I could have. And also I was going to play volleyball and then track as well.
I decided to go to the state of Michigan's track and field championships. And I saw her and she threw the shot put, and I was very amazed at first of all, how far it went and how she did it, because anybody else, it probably would have took their arm off, but she was just very strong.
At the state meet, my mom was so excited to watch me throw discus because she had thrown discus in high school. But Coach Pugh kept trying to talk to my mom and stuff like that, and my mom was like, no, I want to watch my daughter.
This gentleman comes up to me with a card in hand, and he says he wants to, if you have a minute, I'd love to talk with you. And I really kind of blew him off. I was like, well, thank you, but she's already committed to go somewhere else. And Becca reached over and took his card.
Her mom did blow me off. So as a mom, you don't want to sit and talk and be distracted. You want to give all your attention to, your son or daughter. So that's where that came from. So she wasn't being mean or anything.
She has no technique, no skill, nothing. She's literally just pure strength. And I think that's what he saw. She's a diamond in a rough, I think is what we were calling her.
I didn't win, I got all state, but my marks weren't that far, especially not for what I thought is a Big Ten level. So I kind of kept his little card, and I was thinking about it for a little bit. And I was like, do I want to go here?
During the recruiting, it was a very, very short recruiting process with her. It was more so hey, this is what we have to offer. This is the offer that's on the table.
So then I talked to Coach Pugh a little bit just to figure out what he was looking for in an athlete and stuff like that. And then I came on a visit, but what really struck me at MSU was the academics. And when I saw the academics, I was like, shoot, I want to go there. I was going on a mission trip with my church to Nicaragua, and in the airport there, I saw a Michigan State shirt, and that's when I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be a Spartan. So later that week, when I was in Nicaragua, I sent an email to my coach and everything saying I wasn't coming. And then a week after I got back from Nicaragua before moving, I decided I was coming to Michigan State officially.
Being the youngest of all three of the kids, she definitely tagged along to a lot of things. And I think in a lot of ways, that's why she got involved in so many different sports.
I was privileged with the opportunity to always join the next league and the next team and stuff. So it kind of just rolled on season after season. I would start the next one. And that's what I did with my free time. That's what I thought was natural. We had a large backyard. The times me and my brother would just go out there and play random things. Or me and my sister, we got a lacrosse goal one year and we played lacrosse one-on-one. So stuff like that, it was always you had a teammate and you always had somebody to play against. And my parents were at every single event they could make it to, every practice, every game. So it was always it was our family thing, who's going to whose game tonight.
The kids really liked doing it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have pushed themselves so hard. My husband and I, we wanted them to try different sports. They were all very athletic. Becca by far the most.
I was a very, very competitive kid growing up. I think a lot has to do with my brother and I. He's 15 months older than me, but I was always the same size as him, so we would go at it. We were great opponents though, because we had the same developmental skill-wise. Once we got to middle school and high school, that definitely separated and we both went our own ways. But growing up, my sister was always larger than me too, because she's 5 years older. So I always had to struggle and try a little bit harder, which I think made me into who I am now, because I always had to go for the top dogs and stuff.
Family's our little circle, and there were the 5 of us, and that was the most important thing, with them being, young and trying to put some values to what's going on in the world. We do a lot with our church. Becca's been on mission trips, numerous ones. One, she went to Nicaragua, and I think she's got the travel bug. She would love to go everywhere.
Junior year, I enrolled at Liceum Trzyciści in Warszawa, Poland, which is Warsaw, Poland. The main reason I chose to go to Poland is my grandfather lived in Poland, and quite a bit of my extended family lives there. So it was kind of like a home away from home that was actually my family. I just had only seen pictures of them. One of the most important things that I would say my experience in Poland taught me was the different cultures that we have no clue and I have no way of understanding unless you live through it. And that has definitely shaped how I want my future to be and my future careers and what I want to do with my life. And Poland was the first example of how I thought I was gonna go there and it was gonna be just like this. And then I came out a completely different person with all these amazing experiences which taught me so much. I breezed through high school. I never really studied and I got all A's, so I thought it would be the exact same thing coming to MSU. I heard of a lot of other people being successful here who didn't seem to try as hard in high school as well but still get good grades, so I thought I'd just be like any one of them. But then my freshman year when I didn't 4.0 all my classes, I was kind of like, had to take a second back and I was like, whoa, like maybe I do have to try a little bit at school. And then athletics was a whole different boat. Coming in, you have people who have done track and field from when they were a child. Their parents were coaches, they've invested in the sport. And then I walk in here with maybe 2 months of track and field under my belt. The first day of practice, I was so confused, so lost. I was like, what am I supposed to do?
She did not have a clue about track and field. Basically showing her how to hold a shot put, to holding a discus, introducing her to one of her better events, which is the weight and the hammer throw.
Freshman year, after the indoor Big Tens, coach is like, I need to see more out of everybody, all this stuff. And I was like, I don't know if I have more to give. And I really didn't want to be wasting MSU's resources. So I wrote a letter to coach and then I went into his office and read it to him saying that I understand if you need to cut me, no hard feelings, that I don't think I'm cut out for this. Just because I wasn't at the marks that everybody else was, and if they weren't doing good enough, then I knew for sure that I wasn't. Little did I know that it was just my freshman year and I had to be patient in my athletics.
When I first met Rebecca, I think that she was just kind of not sure of her potential at the time. I think that's very common just in this sport alone or being an athlete alone, especially starting out. We weren't sure like what we were gonna be getting ourselves into.
It definitely took a lot of me like breaking down and realizing like what are my priorities and how I should align those priorities. My teammates were also probably one of the biggest resources I could ever have. That's one of the things that's made MSU such a great experience for me.
Over the years, it's been nice to see how she's progressed and how she has kind of come to know herself as the athlete that she is and kind of recognize that potential that she holds. She's matured a lot and her confidence has skyrocketed.
For somebody who did not want to come to MSU at all, but now has been here for 3 years, I would say that MSU is full of opportunity and full of resources. The only thing you have to do is use them.